The Big Ten, less than 2 months after adding USC and UCLA, has landed the largest media rights agreement in college athletic history. The deal is with Fox, CBS, NBC, Peacock, and FS1 for 7 years, from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2030. The deal is worth between $7 and $8 billion. The contract includes an escalator clause, meaning the deal could approach nearly $10 billion if the Big Ten's membership increases. Even after adding USC and UCLA, the Big Ten is not done expanding, sources have told Brett McMurphy at the Action Network. On Thursday, the Big Ten announced its media rights agreement, which includes splitting its football conference championship games between Fox, CBS, and NBC in 2026. The Big Ten is now pursuing Notre Dame for football membership. They would also like to add Oregon, Washington, Stanford, and Cal from the Pac-12. Those plans have not changed, sources tell Brett McMurphy. That's pretty significant. That is pretty significant.
So let's say they do pick up those Pac-12 schools. Let's say then that Utah goes to the Big 12, because that's what it's kind of panning out to be now that we have this.
Yes.
Tell us how we're wrong that the Pac-12 is dead. Because I got news for you. If all these schools leave, San Diego State's not getting it done, right? Like little guy is not getting it done. So that's why I say I think what we're really talking about here, just based on that report, is we're talking about the death of one conference and the beginning of a two-conference college football system, meaning you have the SEC and the Big Ten. Nobody else matters. The Big 12, great, cool, awesome. You're a distant third, and you have the ACC, which doesn't really do football, in my opinion, outside of Clemson. So that's why I say that this is what I was just talking about. If you're the Big Ten, you have to pounce on this opportunity. You're about to sign one of the biggest media rights deal that's ever been done in college football. You're talking about picking up premier brands like Notre Dame, Oregon, Washington, Stanford, and that's it. It's over. You're done if you're the Pac-12. So to me, if I'm Utah, it's time to go. Like, it's time to move on. I don't know what the plan is to get to the Big 12, but you need to get on that horse and you need to ride that thing into the sunset, because staying in this conference is a death knell. And, you know, I loved our interview with Bob Thompson, but I don't think that this conference can survive anymore. Bob said that they could survive without UCLA and USC. This is a different beast now, right? This is, hey, like, what would that be? 40%, 50% of your conference is gone? Something like that? That's too much. You can't survive on that.
I don't know how you would survive on that. And again, Brett McMurphy at the Action Network reporting the Big Ten TV rights deal is worth $7 to $8 billion and has an escalator clause for new members that could make it worth as much as $10 billion.
That's good business. That's how things should be done, you know? So you start to see, you know, the haves and the have-nots, as all these articles have been talking about. You know, you have the SEC. You've got the Big Ten. Well, now it's time to grow. Now it's time to take that next step forward. And by the way, I also think it's not lost on anybody. If the Big Ten does this and they're able to execute and come through and pick up all these teams, is the SEC still the best conference in the land? Because I think it's pretty close at that point, right? Like, I think it's really close, because now Oregon's going to recruit better. You've got SC, you've got Stanford, you've got Washington, you've got all the big boys from the Pac-12, outside of Utah, of course, which is a little surprising to me, but hey, it is what it is. So I just think that the Big Ten, if they do this, you're in really good shape, man. And I think once this gets done, then I think we have to have college football playoff expansion conversations. Now you got to start talking about, 8 or 10 team college football playoff tournament, because the Big Ten is going to recruit on the level that the SEC does, and their teams are going to get better. Ohio State is better for this. Penn State is better for this. The Pac-12 schools are obviously better for this. So it'll be really interesting to see how this works out. But assuming this deal gets done today, what if tomorrow we wake up and do the show and the Pac-12 has been gutted of its teams, or there's news like this that says, hey, that's going to happen? I don't know what that looks like for the Pac-12. Like, I don't know what you do at that point.
I don't know either. I think it is incredible. It is incredible to me that we're talking about the Big Ten signing a 7-year deal with CBS, Fox, and NBC. And as we reported yesterday on the show, you also have this situation where Fox and ESPN are now working on a deal because, remember, Fox owns 61% of the Big Ten network.
Right.
Fox and ESPN are talking about a deal that would have marquee, big preseason games, multiple big preseason matchups. Let's surmise it's Alabama and Ohio State in a kickoff classic type game that nets both schools millions of dollars and the TV network's huge audiences.
This is Coach Saban.
ESPN gets one of those games. Fox gets one of those games. I'd have to imagine NBC, who, by the way, is negotiating a deal with Notre Dame coming up. I have to imagine that Notre Dame and NBC get in on that deal. Like, this is money making for everybody.
Yeah.
And I go back, and I know that everybody's saying that I'm hating on the Pac-12. This is money making deal for everybody but the Pac-12.
Well, and you know what really stands out to me in this whole situation? Like, I think you make a great point, and it kind of starts to stand out. Like, the collaborative environment and atmosphere and culture between everybody in this Big Ten situation is alive and well. And I think that's another thing that the Pac-12, or I guess what we can start calling the Pac-5, really struggles with. You know, like, there's not this sense of, hey, if this benefits Fox, how can it benefit ESPN and CBS and NBC? Like, how can we all, as the major 4 networks, get together and make everybody in the pot more money? Because that's the thing. When you start putting numbers together, like this saying strength in numbers, the reason that's such a powerful thing is because you're covering, I mean, like, is it unrealistic to say between those 4 networks you could get 1 billion views? Is that unrealistic?
Absolutely.
Right, like you could get that level of viewership across the board for this deal. So if the networks are happy, the players are handled, the conferences are happy, why not? Like, and this is why I think this news that we briefly mentioned earlier about more bots being in the chat. Just kidding. This is why that news earlier about, recruiting and like just the developments that are taking place. And by the way, this whole thing about how, the NCAA is not needed anymore, this type of thing, it furthers that cause, in my opinion. This is showing you that business can be done without the NCAA. They don't need, again, with all due respect, you don't need old rich white guys sitting on the NCAA board to get a deal done. That's just not like the process.
No, look at this graphic that NBC has put out. If you look at what this says, I mean, NBC and Peacock to become exclusive home of Big Ten Saturday Night Football package beginning in 2023.
Right there, just right there.
Wow.
Read that verbiage one more time. The Big Ten
This
Saturday
is from
night.
NBC Sports.
Yeah.
This graphic you're looking at on the screen right now is from NBC Sports. NBC and Peacock to become exclusive home of Big Ten Saturday Night.
Big Ten
and let me hide the
Saturday
ticker.
Night.
Long-term partnership to include men's and women's basketball games, Olympic sports, golf, and more. This is what the Pac-12 never had.
Yeah, and never will have.
Look at that graphic.
Yeah.
That is so foundationally important. This is from the NBC Sports.
Yeah.
NBC and Peacock to become the exclusive home of Big Ten Saturday Night. Why should that stand out to you? What does that mean to you? You know what that means to you? That's a shot over the bow.
Yes.
At Pac-12 After Dark. That's exactly what that is.
Well, I think what it says is Pac-12 After Dark doesn't exist. That's
no,
what it says
does not.
to me. What it says is, hey, we're going to go and poach all these schools and put an end to Pac-12 After Dark. Because remember last week what we talked about. Hey, SC and UCLA are going to the Big Ten. And the reason that for the Big Ten that matters is because they know that the one of the last lifelines that the Pac-12 has is that late night game slot that got them 1 million views every single time they did it. That was the numbers. That's not a made up number. That's true. They were getting 1 million views every single time they did Pac-12 After Dark. So what's the Big Ten doing with this deal? They're saying, to hell with that. We're going to go and pick up all those schools, and we're going to have Big Ten after dark. And we're going to apply that same idea and that same plan to Olympic sports and female sports and golf and like all these different options. That's why this matters. Why do you think ESPN didn't get in on the Big Ten? Because it's too much money. They know,
Huge.
Hey, we need to have our slice of the pie. ESPN has always been, hey, we got to have our thing, whether we're talking NHL or Monday Night Football or now the SEC. We know that. And why was it easy for ESPN to get the SEC? Because CBS is in this Big Ten deal. That's why. And that makes sense to me.
This is a foundational announcement in the history of college sports right now. Again, Big Ten TV rights deal is $7 to $8 billion and has an escalator clause for new membership. This deal could be elevated to $10 billion with new members, and the $7 to $8 billion already includes UCLA and USC.
It's incredible.
Already includes it.
It's a clear message that you're adding the Pac-12 schools. It's just a clear message.
This is a huge, huge problem. This is a huge problem. It's over. I'm telling you right now, as I have said for a month, it's over in the Pac-12.
I just don't know how you dispute it now.
It's done.
I don't know how anyone disputes it.
I just don't know what you do. I mean, if you think about, again, I said this yesterday, I'll say it again, one of the best college football games I've ever been to, Ohio State at USC, Los Angeles Coliseum.
I gotta say, I'm just fired up to be here today.
You're going to get that now. So this idea that we can have Pac-12 after dark, it'll be Oregon and Washington. No, we're going to get Big Ten after dark with USC and Ohio State.
And you know what's really interesting? I don't even think the viewer gives a damn whether it's Pac-12 or Big Ten. Does anybody really even care about that portion? All we care about is good football games, right? Are you not going to watch the game because it's a Big Ten game versus a Pac-12 game? No, you're going to watch it over and over, like every single time. We're all going to watch that. Like, that's why I say this is what we've been working towards for the last 2 weeks. We said, and again, beauty of YouTube, we say it all the time, channel lives forever, go find it. We said, I think 2 weeks ago, that if you're the Big Ten and you're looking at Pac-12 Media Day coming and you got these plans in the works with Notre Dame and putting together this thing where you've got early, mid, and late games all together working together, this takes that to another level. And that's why I'm saying I just respect good business. And that's what this is. I'm no huge Big Ten fan. I never have been. Frankly, I'm not even a huge college football fan. If I'm being totally honest, this might bring me more college football fandom because I'm consistently getting relevant college football games. I can consistently get the SC Ohio State level matchup. I've been saying it for years. There is nothing I love more than like Alabama, LSU on a fall day with something on the line, right? Smokers on, breeze is blowing through the trees, and you got football on. Who doesn't love that? And that's what I'm saying. That's what this does. In my opinion, I just think it's just the right move.
It's incredible how this has completely changed the game in college football. I mean, and we knew this deal was coming. We knew the money was coming. But now that you understand NBC, Peacock, FS1, Fox, CBS, this is a huge deal. And now you understand that NBC Sports is and why this is so big for NBC. Why this is so big for NBC. I think this all but seals the fact that NBC and Notre Dame are going to stay together.
Why would you not?
I think this all but seals the fact that Notre Dame, if they join a conference as a football team, is only going to join the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And it makes total sense for them to do that. NBC is back in college football.
Yeah, and that's a great point because NBC was on its heels for a while. You know, there were questions about like what NBC was going to do because NBC, they're not doing NHL as much anymore. Like you have the Premier League there, but that's kind of moving, I think, if I remember correctly. Like it's just crazy, man. This is a huge deal.
Yeah, and I think this is why we were reporting. This is why a year ago when we were telling you, hey, BYU's getting into the Big 12. This is happening. Hey, this is happening. Hey, Kalani's interviewing with other schools. Kalani's interviewing with Washington.
If you're Kalani, how are you not And at the time, we told you he was just doing it for leverage, which I totally believe he was just doing it for leverage over BYU. But are you not thrilled that you decided not to go to Oregon or Washington or any of those schools you were talking to?
Yep. Renee Rocha says, I personally don't watch Big Ten football, but this kills the pack. Almost also a heavy blow for the Big 12. I don't think it is a heavy blow for the Big 12.
No.
Because I think what this does, and Brett McMurphy at the Action Network is reporting that Oregon, Washington, Cal, and Stanford are being heavily pursued by the Big Ten. All this does is leave those remaining 6 teams on the table for the Big 12.
Yeah.
The Arizona schools, Utah, like Oregon State, Washington State.
It just makes perfect sense. We had this conversation
Absolutely.
about the Big 12 swallowing up the rest of the Pac-12. Like that was an idea that was bandied about for a while. This totally changes it now. Now the Big Ten's going to go and get those schools that we just talked about, the Oregons, the Washingtons, the Stanfords. They're going to go and get the big nameplates, and it puts the Big 12 in a perfect position to take the rest. And again, I have to point out, not to hate on Utah, this is major disrespect towards Utah, because in my opinion, Utah is Oregon. Utah is Washington. Utah is, certainly is Stanford, without a doubt. Like, they are on that level. And what are we sitting here talking about? What are we discussing? We're discussing that the Big Ten doesn't value Utah right now. That Utah is going to have to go to the Big 12, which is great. I think they'll do fine. I think they'll do really well. That's great. But how long is Utah going to sit around and be on the back foot here? That's my point. If you're Utah, you're sitting here saying, okay, so we see how this is playing out. These schools are going to the Big 10. We're going to go to the Big 12 with probably the Arizona schools and, whatever else is left, I guess, right? Maybe San Diego State goes to the Big 12 as well. Who the hell knows? But I just think it's incredible that Utah is not getting the respect, in my opinion, that it deserves.
Yeah.
It should be in that Big Ten package, and it's not.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. And I think one of the things that you really have to consider now, again, if you're a Pac-10 team, now you're looking for a ripcord. Because now also, by the way, Commissioner Warren is in Napa talking with, negotiating on different, event terms and the Rose Bowl and talking about planning for the Rose Bowl. And he's doing that with the remaining 10 teams in the Pac-12. I mean, these relationships are in place. Announcing this rights deal today is, and as you can see on the screen, Brett McMurphy's reporting the Big Ten is pursuing Oregon, Washington, Stanford, and Cal. This is a huge deal, man. Like this is the end of the Pac-12. It's over. There's no saving this. There's no surviving this. And now if you're the UC Board of Regents, again, you met yesterday, I think you have very little, not none, I think you have very little recourse against UCLA. And all of this goes away if Cal joins the Big Ten. I mean, it is just so incredibly transformative, this announcement today.
Well, you know what it brings me back to, before we get to the comments, because I'm sure people have something to say, but what it brings me back to is George Kliavkoff at Pac-12 Media Day talking all that junk about how the Big 12 is trying to throw lobs at us, and they're insecure, and they're worried, that we're going to steal their teams. I got news for you, George. You got that wrong, and you look like an idiot today. You look like an idiot. And the reason you look like an idiot is because of the arrogance piece, and because you thought that because you were the Conference of Champions, and I'm not even joking. It's on YouTube, not on our channel. You can just search it. Go listen to the guy. The guy literally sat on the podium there or whatever and said, hey, we're the Conference of Champions. We've got more championships than all the other conferences combined, and tried to sell us this package on why the Pac-12 was some great conference. Yet here we are talking about basically that the Pac-12 is on a chopping block. Not exaggerating. The Pac-12 is on a chopping block. They're going to take a butcher knife and cut that thing in half. Half of the league is going, or half of the conference is going to go to the Big Ten, and that's going to be the premier brands. And the other half is going to go to the Big 12. So wait, let me get this right. What would we have? I guess that would be the Big 15?
The Big 16.
The Big 16? And then, so you would have two Big 16s essentially.
Yes.
Like that's what it would break out
that's
to.
what the Big Ten would. That's what the Big Ten would come down to.
Yeah.
And I think when you look at that, and I'm just texting with
it's wild.
I'm texting with a TV guy I know about this, trying to figure out, what this looks like. But I think it's pretty clear that you have a situation where I still maintain that ESPN is pulling the strings. Like, that's what I'm texting with this guy about, is that ESPN, because they have the most desirable platform, like, you don't have to go off of ESPN's platform to find any of their content.
Yeah.
If you're on the ESPN app, you get the .com, obviously, you get live TV, and you get ESPN Plus. If you're on ESPN Plus, you can only do that through the ESPN app, which gives you access to the .com, the TV, the radio, ESPN Plus. Like, it's the perfect model, and it's what everybody wants to be a part of. ESPN walked away. Think about this as well. ESPN walked away from this Big Ten deal because they already have the SEC, and I think they're very well aware that they're probably going to end up with whatever is left of the Big 12 and the Pac-12.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see those two conferences probably come together at some point, and ESPN's going to do the TV deal.
And this is just brilliant. I mean, I'm not trying to be, ridiculous about this, but it's just absolutely brilliant business right here. I mean, this is clinical in my opinion. You're sharing resources. You've put the networks together to work as a team. Like, it's what we don't get a lot in business.
That's right.
I feel like we don't see this very much. You don't see, air quotes, competitors, if you will, coming together for the betterment of the total package. And I just appreciate that, I guess, when we see things like this, because you just don't see it very much.
Yep. Tanner Plummer says, have the mighty fallen? Yeah, rip the Pac-12.
Seriously.
Exactly right.
I just don't know how you deny it anymore. There is no denying it anymore.
Bayesian says, the only question is, will Utah drop their arrogance and stoop to joining the Big 12? I don't think the University of Utah has arrogance, and I don't think the University of Utah views the Big 12 as stooping.
I don't view it as stooping.
I don't think anybody views it as stooping. I really don't. Utah Home Loans says Pac-12 screwed themselves. Yeah, indeed they did. MH5 says there was a lot of people talking about brand value. It would appear that market size still matters a little bit more than brands, and that's what I'm saying.
Great point.
I think when you look at Los Angeles, I think it's the key to survival in the Pac-12, and I just think when right now they don't have representation south of Berkeley.
Yeah.
And that just isn't going to work. I mean, you cannot go with that. San Diego State's absolutely critical here. Yeah. And if you are the Big 12, I don't know why today you are not ringing the phone in Tucson, in Tempe, in San Diego, and in Salt Lake City. Get on the e-sign, send over those agreements, and get it done. Get it done. Add Utah, San Diego State, and the Arizona schools, and let's go about our business. Because the other schools will have to come calling.
I can't believe they wouldn't do that. I just now see the difference is yesterday there wasn't momentum, right? There was conversations, Board of Regents meetings before they made themselves look like idiots. Big Ten rumor mill about Notre Dame and this whole thing they were trying to do. But now you have momentum. Now you have, okay, the Big Ten's doing this. Now we got to move.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
The conversation just came to an end.
Yeah, it's over. It's done.
It's over. And I look at the Big 12, and I know this is heavily debated. I look at the Big 12 as an absolute value proposition. I think there is no doubt that this is, if you added, think about this, if you add to what already exists as a $50 million commodity, the Big 12 in TV rights land.
Right, yeah.
Let's just use the number $50 million. I've heard it repeatedly. If you add the Arizona schools, San Diego State, and Utah, you add those four, you can't tell me you're not adding $15 million. You're adding $15 million right there. Arizona alone. Can you imagine an Arizona-Kansas basketball series?
We haven't even gotten to basketball yet.
Can you imagine what this conference becomes if you add that basketball brand? If you add the Arizona basketball brand to a very, very good, arguably the best basketball conference in the country already.
Yes.
If you add that, come on now.
Arizona and Kansas.
And that's why I'm saying, like, if I'm the Big 12, I'm fine. Obviously, you'd love to add Oregon. You'd love to add Washington. I think you'd really – I think you could take or leave Cal and Stanford, in my opinion. But you want the TV market. But if you can add Arizona schools, San Diego State and Southern California, if you can add the Pacific Northwest, Oregon State, Washington State, Utah, Colorado, why wouldn't you do that?
Yep.
Why wouldn't you do that?
You would.
I think you would do that.
You would do that, yeah.
And I think if you need to balance and you would obviously like to add 6 or 8, I mean, there's schools you can add. I just don't know why you wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I don't think it's stooping. I have to say, like, I disagree with that comment. You know, again, your perspective, not saying you're wrong, but I just personally disagree. I don't think you're stooping to the Big 12. I think you're taking your option. Like that's how I would be viewing this if I was Utah. I'd be saying, okay, this just came out, and you can't tell me that Utah and these schools weren't in the know about this. Obviously, people that are in the circle know about it and knew it was coming. But now it'll be interesting to see, like, how long do we have to wait till we get a Big 12 announcement? How long do we have to wait till we get the next steps now? Because those schools going to the Big 10 is going to be official, I'm sure, within the next week or two or whatever, maybe even less than that. And then at that point, you have to, if you're the Big 12, once the Big 10 thing happens, you got to immediately follow that up by we're adding these schools and just put an end to it.
A TV guy I respect said there is no, I'm sorry, there is, dadgummit with vanishing mode. I misfumbled my phone with my sausage fingers.
Be better. Be better.
15 seconds maximum is not enough time to read somebody's
Well,
message.
it's what you're used to, so it's fine.
Yeah, 15 seconds of greatness. That's what your mom's used to.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is, this TV guy that I respect, who's been pretty good with his information, said there's no path forward for the remaining schools in the Pacific Conference. He called it the Pacific Conference.
Okay, the Pacific Conference. Cool. So he's basically
because
saying,
he doesn't want to say the Pac-12.
Well, yeah,
and you
I
don't
know
want to
what you
say the
call it.
Pac-10.
We had a comment the other day on the channel that said, stop calling it the Pac-12 or the Pac-10, just call it the Pac. I have to agree with that.
Yeah.
I think now you just have to call it the Pac.
I don't see a path forward.
So wait, so what that means, though, I want to be really clear. So that just means that, hey, there's no path forward in that conference. Now you have to jump ship and get to the next opportunity.
Vernon Sheldon Witter gives us a $2 tip. Appreciate that. He says, then why do I constantly see condescending messages from Utah fans talking about how much better they are than those of us on other channels? Read your comments someday. Bro.
I don't think you understand.
Dude. Okay. So Utah fans are difficult to deal with. There's no doubt about that. Utah fan is difficult to deal with. They are angry. They are bitter. They are constantly fighting with BYU fans. And Vernon, I don't think you're wrong at all. I don't think you're wrong at all.
But we do read our comments.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But I also don't think the folks that run the University of Utah do not believe that they're stooping down if they join the Big 12.
Yeah.
Fans, how do I say this gently? Because you matter on this show. There's no doubt about that. To the decision makers in big time athletics, you're meaningless. You're meaningless. All they care about is you going to the TV and watching their product. That's it. I mean, you're going to the games. We all know that. You're watching the games. We all know that. To them, you're a number on a TV set. That's it.
And so are we.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
And I think we have to come to terms with that. Arlington Bears says, should Big 12 take San Diego State over Utah? I think the Big 12 needs to be as good of a football conference as possible, and Utah brings on field success. Absolutely.
Are we really sitting here wondering if Utah is going to be into the Big 12? Is that?
I don't wonder about. I do not wonder about it. I believe that that's going to happen. I think that's as done could be.
Yeah.
Because Utah, I don't believe joins the Big 10. I don't think they get an invite. That just is not a good fit. They're a perfect fit in the Big 10, in the Big 12 rather. Excuse me. I have no doubt. But you know what? I think San Diego State matters because of where they are in their building facilities, and they're winning football games, and their basketball program's pretty damn good. Like, San Diego State has real value. Real value. Arlington Bears also says Utah has a good program. They still are the little brothers in this state. you know. Vernon says, then get over yourselves. Who are you talking to,
Yeah,
by the
who
way?
are you
I would love
talking
to know
to?
who you're pointing that is.
Yeah.
Let's see. Old man Dan Boulder says, San Diego State by a mile. I've been living here for almost 40 years in Boulder. Well, Boulder's
a little different.
Boulder's a little different. I wonder where Colorado ends up, because I don't think it's a slam dunk they get back into the Big 12. I really don't. Roger Sales says, remember the Pac-12 commissioner's comments during his interviews? He kept saying the culture of other teams was important. Culture equals politics. Sure, absolutely. Riley O'Brien says his feelings sound hurt. They do. Look,
How did that even happen though?
Because I think we too oftentimes associate universities with their fans. And in Utah, we have a huge luxury. We have two really good institutions, more than two. I mean, we have a handful of just unbelievable schools in this state. But the ones you know about, BYU and Utah, are elite. They're elite. They're absolutely elite. That doesn't mean Weber's not. That doesn't mean that Aggie Tears is not. That doesn't mean that SUU is not. But when you look at what Utah brings to the table, beyond unbelievable academics, beyond unbelievable athletics, beyond an incredible community, I mean, Utah is a total package.
Yeah.
I look at BYU, and again, they're going to say, oh, you're drinking the blue Kool-Aid, fat ass. That could be. But BYU is everything you want in a member. BYU brings you incredible alumni. Passionate, engaged, connected alumni.
Mm-hmm.
They bring you incredible financial resources. They bring you 1 million viewers to the set every week. More than that. They bring you a fan base that travels. Is it a global fan base? Maybe, maybe not. I don't buy into that.
Doesn't matter if it is or it isn't.
You can't tell me there's guys out in the mission fields, well, hey, I gotta go. We'll talk about your Lord and Savior in a minute. The fourth quarter's kicking off. That's not happening. Is it a global audience? On some level. BYU has an incredibly engaged domestic fan base that's damn good. Their academics are really good.
Yeah.
Their connections in the business community are really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think BYU has operated from a position of leverage while everybody was looking at them as somebody that was struggling. And all along, very quietly under the veil of, oh yeah, hey man, we're just down here. Hey, don't forget it. We're that team down south. Yeah, go with that message, guys. Go ahead. Yeah, swoop this. Go ahead. Your Pac-12 is great. Nice billboard. Cool,
Bet
man.
You weren't expecting this one.
And all along, Tom Homo and BYU are just flying under the radar. Bronco resigns, you replace him with the perfect candidate. You start recruiting, you start winning, you start spending money.
Start drafting quarterbacks, top 2,
Their moms get on social media,
Yeah, it's fine.
All along, BYU happy to play the TDS card, I think. Relished in it. Jumped over Texas. Got into the Big 12. Extended Kalani. Won big games. Dominated the Pac-12 last year. And all of a sudden you woke up one day and you're like, God damn, we're that team up north. That's what happened in this state. And it can upset you. You don't have to agree with it.
Yeah.
But there is no doubt Utah fans fell asleep at the wheel. Oh, we beat you like 71 years in a row.
Yes.
You guys are terrible at football. Go back to the Mountain West.
Not so funny anymore, is it?
That's what happened in this state. And I don't have a dog in the fight. I am neither a Utah or a BYU fan. It's
Not
a
from here.
It's a lovely position to be in. I don't work for the church. I don't work for the U.
Don't work for KSL.
Just telling you. It's an amazing place to be.
And I think as far as the fans don't matter thing, I think we need to make sure we're on the same page about that. Like, you made it clear, but I want to make sure that people are on the same page and very clear. Fans don't matter at the level where you have the head of these universities making decisions. They're not sitting there saying, hey, we got to do this because the fans won't show up, right? Like, they're not doing that. They're not. It's just not. That's just not how the conversation works. Like, on this show, you guys absolutely matter because without you guys, we wouldn't be growing at the rate we are. We wouldn't be doing what we're doing. And that's the God's honest truth. I mean, literally, like, just so we're all clear for all the new listeners, we left probably, like 200,000 a year, like some ridiculous number of income at our day job to do this full time. Like, you guys matter here, man. Like,
yeah.
And all I'm saying is that with the fan thing at the school level, at the tippy top, these guys making the decisions are not considering you in that decision.
Not even a little bit.
And it shouldn't be a thing where you get all pissy about it when we say that, because that's just the truth of the matter.
Yep. Tanner Plummer says, I think you're wrong, Mont. The U of U administration is extremely arrogant. Could be. Scammer Trolling says Utah isn't going to the Big 12. They're going somewhere, and it ain't the Mountain West.
Well, he's a BYU guy, though.
Could be. Bazanian says, from a financial standpoint, San Diego State brings the San Diego Southern California market.
Mm-hmm.
Utah doesn't bring anything that the Big 12 doesn't already have. Well, I might disagree with that. I mean,
yeah, I mean, there is that Rose Bowl appearance.
I think there is Kyle Whittingham. I think there is a proven track record of unbelievable football performance. You need to strengthen your football offering.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest about the Big 12. It's a basketball conference right now. Here today, yeah, I mean, you don't have Oklahoma and Texas. You don't. And I think with what happened with Gundy at Oklahoma, that week in the conference, because I don't think he can go. I mean, I would assume if he wanted to, he could go work at Okie State with his brother. But, I mean, you're not playing from a position of strength football-wise in the Big 12. I mean, that's a God's honest truth. I mean, you're bringing in Cincy, BYU, Houston, UCF. I think those are good ads.
Utah, I think nationally is above all of those. Nationally, like college football playoff-wise, is above those.
You bring in Utah with those four, and you add San Diego State, now you're a much better football conference.
Yeah.
Now you're a much better basketball conference, because at some point I have to think that Utah figures out basketball. I mean,
they're not going to have a choice if you're in the Big 12, man. You're going to have to figure that out.
I just don't understand. Yeah, that's a different show. But, yeah, Vernon says they need to change their attitude first. They don't, actually. You need Utah, in my opinion. Let's see. Now it's become the Rain on Utah show, and I don't really know why. Utah is basically a junior college. Stop.
No, it's not. Get the hell out of here with that. Come on now.
Stop. That's not true.
You're
Brady
casual.
Cook says, so if the Big 12 expands, do you think they will get a TV deal like the Big 10?
Probably not to that valuation, but,
Not $7-8 billion. I could see the Big 12 maxing it. It depends on who you add. Are you adding San Diego State? I think that brings you a lot of value. Are you adding the Arizona schools? I think that brings you a lot of value. You're adding Utah? I think that brings you a lot of value.
Mm-hmm.
Utah can go to any field and beat any team right now today. That brings you value. I think dominating the mountain region brings you value.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could probably get somewhere close to $75 million. I think there's a lot of value in that.
Yeah.
I don't think you're getting $100 million. I don't. That's just my opinion, though. Let's see. Scammer Trolling says the farmers in Ghana, Ecuador, and the Philippines all take Saturdays off so they can watch BYU football.
Yeah. Stay on brand, buddy.
Mark says less than Big Ten, SEC, but more than anyone else after the Pac-12 schools. Yeah?
Correct.
I would agree with that.
Bro,
Stupid fly. David Caldwell says, what happened if UCLA is not allowed to join the Big Ten? I don't know that not allowed will happen.
Yeah.
Because I think one of the things you have to consider here is that the UC system needs the money. The UC system cannot be bailing out Cal and UCLA, and especially if Cal is given an invitation to the Big Ten. I mean, there would be no reason to stop that.
Mm-hmm.
Travel is going to be a real problem. Travel is going to be a real problem. You're going to have to fly private. If you are USC and UCLA, you're going to have to fly private. Can the UC system sustain that kind of expense? Guess
we'll find out.
100 million helps that, doesn't it? I mean, even if your share is 70 million, that helps that. You're at minimum doubling what you're making now. You're telling me you're not getting $48 million a year in the Big Ten? I mean, I would think you are. Travel is going to be a problem. it is going to, I mean, they presented at the Board of Regents meeting yesterday, they presented a demonstration about how sleep deprivation is terrible for athletes and that traveling cross time zones creates sleep deprivation.
Well, welcome to the world of sports.
I mean, well, there is that.
I mean, is that not what professional athletes deal with?
It is. I mean, but when you're a college athlete, I mean, let's take USC. Or UCLA, you're in the UC system. If you're UCLA and you got to go to Rutgers, Rutgers. And you're flying commercial to do that? Now you've lost a day and a half. And then you get there and are you going to play a game on the same day? You're probably staying there 2-3 days. And if you're being really serious, aren't you doing a swing that's, an Eastern swing? Hey, in basketball, let's go play Rutgers and then Michigan State and Michigan. Maybe we stop in Chicago and play Northwestern. I have to think so, right? Because now if you look at the footprint of the Big Ten, they've got to come out west, but you need travel partners. You need people regionally that can help you facilitate that. My guess is part of the plan for USC and UCLA is that they already know that Washington, Oregon, Cal, and Stanford are going with them.
Yeah. Has to be.
That'd be my guess because you need breaks from travel. Because right now, even going to Omaha, you're going to play Nebraska, going to play Iowa State, that's still days of travel. You're talking about you've got to fly private.
You have to. Yeah.
You have to charter.
Yeah.
There's no way to do that. But again, think about the cost of that. Are you bringing the band? Are you bringing all your tutors? Are you bringing all your academia with? I mean, you have to. You have to fly private.
Yeah, it's probably 2 planes.
You have to fly private. There's just no way. And that's why I think it's imperative that you have BYU and Utah play every year. If you join the Big 12, now you got to go to Florida.
Yeah.
Now we got to go to Cincinnati. I mean, think about that. If you're adding, I mean, you don't care about going to play in Texas. Texas isn't a haul from here. But Central Florida is a haul.
Yeah.
It's a haul from here. Iowa State, Ames, Iowa is not exactly destination travel.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's why I bring up Iowa and Iowa State together. You have one in the Big 12. You have one in the Big 10. But it just is not comfortable. It's not convenient. That's why Texas and Oklahoma in the SEC, that's not a travel problem. That's not a travel problem. You're not going coast to coast. Texas to Alabama.
Well, maybe that's what college sports needs to figure out, specifically football and basketball. Maybe they need to figure out how to go coast to coast. Like, maybe that's part of the requirement of taking the next step.
Yeah.
Like that. It's just part of the beast.
Yeah, talking about the breaking news this morning that the Big Ten has signed a 7-year deal that's right now worth $7 to $8 million starting in 2020, or $1 billion, starting in 2023. With CBS, Fox, and NBC immediately announced on social media that NBC and Peacock will be the exclusive home of Big Ten Saturday night.
Man, is that exciting.
That starts in 2023. USC, Michigan. UCLA, Ohio State. I mean, think about that in basketball.
Yeah.
Think about what UCLA brings to the Big Ten in basketball. I mean, think about the brands in that conference. Big 12's got to act, man. All right, couple more on this because we got some good lifestyle stuff to get to. Renee Roca says the TCU should have never been added to the Big 12. The Dallas-Fort Worth TVs are already watching Tech, UT, and the Ag. Short-sighted. Well, but see, I think the Big 12 can correct that by adding Dallas because I think, again, if you're a Texan, you know the difference between Fort Worth and Dallas. That's not the same market. If I'm the Big 12, I'm trying to dominate the state of Texas. Give me SMU. I'd add SMU every day. And I know that I get my ass kicked routinely for this every time I say it. I would absolutely add SMU. Academia, great law school. I know it's a small school. Okay, great.
Apparently small schools are doing a little better these days.
Give me Dallas. Give me Houston. Give me Fort Worth. Give me Lubbock. I'll dominate the state of Texas every day. I don't know if you guys know this, they play a little football down there in high school.
I want it.
Right, come on. Talking with Raphael podcast.
On PBS Radio.
Would it be better to do a massive redraft of all 124 college teams and give them their own divisions just like that tweet you shared 14 hours ago? Could be. Yeah, probably not a terrible idea. NY Jazz fan says 275 watchers. Let's hit that like button. Please do. Give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. Absolutely helps the channel grow. Thank you, NY Jazz fan. Luis Carlos Diaz says, hands down, San Diego State better than Boise. Yeah, I think once Boise has their facilities in place, we're going to have a different discussion. Right now, I think they need time to build that infrastructure. Let's see. Top Junkie says, in meetings all morning, boys, just stopping by to say, what's up, my Utah brothers? Brothers! Listen here, brother. It's WrestleMania. Good to see you, Top Junkie. Appreciate that very much. Brandon Avant says, no, do not bring SMU. Dallas does not care about SMU. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. It does. Steve Guild says, rumor has it the Big Ten has their sights on Miami. How amazing would that be? How amazing would that be?
I'm sure that buddy, Mario Cristobal, would love to coach against Oregon. Would love it. I'm sure he would.
Do you believe in Mario Cristobal at Miami?
I believe in Cristobal. I don't believe in Miami as a program.
They have some. You want to talk about weird politics?
Yeah. That's Miami, though. I mean, come on.
Dade County and Miami have some odd political
Wade
operators.
County,
Florida. Yeah, Wade County is really interesting. In all seriousness, Dade and the people that control that's some weird stuff. Renee Roca says, absolutely no need to add SMU. None whatsoever. I live in Dallas, Fort Worth. No one cares. Well, because you're not. Anyways. Eric C. says, what the F happened to James Knight? I don't know. James Knight doesn't like college football. Renee, agree, Brandon Avant says. All I care about with SMU is they bring the city of Dallas. They bring the Dallas Metroplex, really. They complete the Dallas Metroplex. So let's see. Steve Moser says, I've got 99 problems, and they're all loft balloons. Brother!
Yeah.
99 loft. You don't know what that is, do you? Do you? Do you know what that is?
No.
It's a song. Tanner says, Wellmont, everything about Florida politics is screwed up. Well,
again, not here for it.
Not here for it. All right. Huge morning of news. Keep bringing your comments. We appreciate that. Please, again, give us a thumbs up and a like. And if you're new here, please subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. We're live and local every morning at 6:30 Mountain Time, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, and 5:30 Pacific, where the Pac-12 is dead.
Yeah.
Love talking to you guys. Appreciate you being here. I want to get to this radio topic because I think a lot of us have all the feels on this. So I've worked in sports talk radio for years, since I was 16 years old.
Decades.
I think I was actually physically on the radio for 30 years. I worked at ESPN. I worked at Sporting News. I won a Murrow Award at KGO and KMBR in San Francisco. Like, I've had a great career. We do not work in radio now by choice. And yesterday was a perfect example of that. So yesterday around 1 o'clock, we get a phone call from one of the local radio folks or people who are involved with the local radio folks. Hey, Monty, have you thought about, bringing the show over here?
I saw it.
They're talking about making changes. This guy's telling me, they're talking about making changes. Your names come up. Like, we see what you guys are doing. Have you thought about bringing your show over here? Yesterday afternoon, I kid you not.
Yeah, out of the blue.
And I was like, nah, we have big things working, like the next 2 months, like yada, yada. Like, we have all this stuff in the works. Like, we're out of the business by choice. Like whatever it was, 6 months ago now. What is it, August? Yeah, right around my birthday. One of the other radio groups called and was like, hey, and it's just not who we are right now. And so then it's like, okay, cool, we're moving on. Like, then last night, I'm getting messages from a buddy of mine. Hey, I lost my gig here in Milwaukee. Can you Do you know anybody? Any word? Please keep me in mind. And so a company called Odyssey, which is one of the biggest companies, radio companies in the country, they own over 250 radio stations, laid off hundreds of talented talk show hosts yesterday. Hundreds of people lost their jobs. And I'm not talking about, Poughkeepsie.
Or SMU.
Thank you. I'm talking about Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where they cleaned out an entire radio station and just flipped a switch and turned on CBS Sports Radio. I'm talking about Pittsburgh. I'm talking about major markets. And it turns out they're doing this because their stock price is too low. They're doing this because their board is upset that their profit margin's not higher. So let me get this right. You laid off a guy in Minneapolis who's been there 20 years and has always been top rated. You've made money on that guy, but we've got to get our stock price up, so I'm going to let that guy go. You want to know why I don't work in radio? That right there is why I don't work in radio. It's not a matter of could we or should we. The answer is no, we should not. And yeah, we absolutely could, but we're not gonna. And I'm curious, everybody listening to this show, all 302 people, like how much talk radio do you listen to?
Mm-hmm.
Because I used to be a daily consumer. And one of the reasons we do this full time now, this is our living now. One of the reasons we do this full time on YouTube, digitally, streaming, is because we control it. We sell our own show. We don't work for anybody else. We're not affiliated with the church. We're not affiliated with the Jazz or the Utes. We're our own. We're unaffiliated. We are unbiased.
Untouchable.
And that's gone away. And it like here in Salt Lake City, that's none of that exists. There is no accountability from the media to the teams. So the Jazz operate without question. Nobody asks tough questions.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody holds the Utah Jazz accountable for anything. Players, their radio situation, their TV situation, nobody holds them accountable for anything.
Facts.
BYU is gold in this town. The Utes, nobody is asking, hey, what are you guys doing? Hey, what's the situation here? Who's going to call Mark Harlan today, outside of me? Who's going to call Mark Harlan today and say, hey, what are your thoughts on this Big Ten thing? Are you guys actually in the works? What are you guys doing? Now, is he going to talk to me? Probably not. But you're damn Skippy, I'm going to call him.
Mm-hmm.
How many other people are going to do that? Because the Trib's not going to do that. Des Newsnot's going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the culture here. So the talk radio is essentially soulless here. There's just not. But we're talking about WFAN, the Fan in New York. They're talking about major layoffs at the Fan in New York. You're talking about the Michael Kay show at ESPN Radio in New York that I listen to pretty much every day.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about the Score in Chicago that I listen to every day. Like, is talk radio dead? Like, what radio do you listen to?
I don't. Legit, I don't. I'll tune into local like occasionally. When
You
we're in
get
the car
pissed when
together.
I turn it on in the car.
Yeah, I don't. I have no problem saying it again. I'm not scared to say I don't enjoy Jake and Ben. I don't enjoy like DJ and PK are dead to me. I don't listen to them. I don't relate to them. It's not a personal thing. I just think they're too slow and they don't understand how to do topic driven radio that keeps people that has, excuse my French, but has balls to the conversation. I don't want, oh, well, hey, ESPN, like the other day, Jake and Ben are doing a thing. ESPN said that the Jazz are going to do over under 26 wins. Let's go through the entire league and see what we think the Celtics are going to do. Nobody in Salt Lake City gives a damn about the Celtics. Nobody cares. What do we care about? Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, Danny Ainge, Ryan Smith. Those four names. Dude's not even on the team anymore. And he's still a bigger conversation than anything else going on in the organization, right? Like, that's what people care about. And so, for me, what do I listen to? I don't. I listen to our show because we need to listen to make sure our quality is good, to make sure that our topics are good, that we're having good conversations, because that's what we do, right? That's why I listen to our show. When I worked at the old Yelpatoria, I'd listen to Rome a little bit sometimes. Like, I still think he's good every now and then.
Maybe a little bit of Cowherd.
Like, but even with Cowherd, there's still some burnout there. Like, my biggest thing right now in radio is that people just get on the show and turn the mic on. They just get on the radio and they turn the mic on. And that's why you don't keep listeners. And the other problem is in radio, there's no analytics. I don't give a damn what anybody says. You're not in radio able to tell me how many people are listening to you right now while you're talking about the death of radio or the Big Ten or the Pac-12. You can't do that. On YouTube, I can tell you right now, we have a whole dashboard that'll tell us how many people are listening, how long they listen for, like where they are. It's a Google property. That's the difference. And I think, that's why I say it's not that I hate radio or that I hate anybody here. It's just not enjoyable for me. I truly just don't enjoy it. And by the way, if I did enjoy it, I would listen. That's why I listen to Jim Rome a little bit, here and there, like when I could, because I enjoy random stuff like some dude calling in acting like a dog's voice. Like those little things, while it's not necessarily hardcore sports talk, it's funny. That's what we don't get here.
Yeah, and I think the struggle for me in particular is that I agree with there is just a straight up lack of talent, but there's a lack of want to do excellent radio every day.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Like I've been really fortunate in my career to be around some of the best. Like Howard Stern's program director at NBC was my boss, a guy named Al Brady Law. When I was in St. Louis, Al Brady Law every morning, I was the morning drive host, stood in my face and screamed at me every day.
And he said what?
He talked about, I mispronounced a name. One of the reasons that I'm so specific about trying to get people's names right. I mispronounced somebody's name. And in St. Louis, when I first moved there, the name of the newspaper in St. Louis is the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. It's not the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. There's a beat there. It's the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. And I wasn't saying it right. And he told me, hey, you need to say it this way. Okay, no problem, man. And like we sat there and we actually practiced it. So I go on the air the next day, and my co-host Dana Daniels, wonderfully talented talk professional. Dana Daniels and I are talking, and I mispronounced it, like didn't even realize I did it. I came out of the studio to go to the bathroom, and he was standing outside the door. Mm-hmm. And he followed me into the bathroom and yelled and screamed at me about mispronouncing it. And then I remember like zipping up, like he was standing right here. I'm taking a leak. And this guy is standing right here yelling at me. And I went back into the studio, and I got to tell you, I never got that name wrong. And I never missed a break time. Like one of the things I'm a huge believer in, and one of the things I love about our platform here on YouTube is I don't ever have to take a break. When I read commercials when I want to. We end the show when we want to. Like what time is it? It's 9:00 straight up here on the Monty Show. Usually we'd be right back starting the hour. One of the things that drives me crazy is in radio, it's not hard to win. But there's little things you have to do, and the people in this town don't know how to do it because they've never had oversight. They've never been trained.
Yeah.
They've never been taught. They don't understand the portable people meter. They don't understand how to manipulate the ratings game. When I worked at 1320 KFan in Salt Lake, legit, it's history. Go back and look at it. We were beating them in the morning within 4 months. Will Smith, Ben Wilson, and I, Monty in the morning, we were beating DJ and PK. Ben and Gunther and Ben in the afternoon. We made one small tweak to that show, and they started beating the big show. Like, because it's not hard when...
Look at the Best of the Valley sign. Like,
yeah,
dude, bro.
That's not like this sign right here. That we were on the air in Phoenix less than a year, and we were voted the best talk show on the radio in Phoenix within a year.
That doesn't mean we were like, I think we do a great show, but that's me. Obviously, I'm going to say that. But why did we actually win that? Because we were disciplined and consistent. And that's why when you come here, you get what I call topic-driven radio. We're not
Yes.
doing, hey, what color is the sky today type radio, where we just turn the radio on or we turn the mic on or the stream on, and we're like, well, and you have
What
these
are we gonna
long
talk about today?
pauses, and like, we don't do that. Dude, do you guys, and I want you guys to understand, since we're talking about it, I'll share this. We get up, I get up at 4:15 every day, and we legit work till 10 o'clock every night to make sure that this show stays quality, because we don't have the luxury of being on ESPN 700 or 1280 The Zone. We don't get that luxury.
Look at my guy N Donuts.
What's up, dude?
He speaks directly into my soul.
Okay.
Rome was okay on the mighty 690 with Hacksaw. Show me your lightning bolt!
Dude, the mighty 690.
Do you remember Hacksaw? You don't.
No, that was before my time.
Southern California, you owe me money. Like, that's a radio personality. Did you like Hacksaw all the time? No. But Lee Hacksaw Hamilton is a personality.
Yes.
Look at David Vassay with the Dodgers broadcast yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
David Vassay is a guy that I know a little bit from my time in Los Angeles at Extra Sports 1100 or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
David Vassay is the Dodgers sideline reporter now. And David Vassay is in Milwaukee with the team. He broke his arm going down the slide at Miller Park. And they made great content out of it. After the game, he's interviewing the player, and the player says to David Vassay, the reporter, "We won this game for you, man. We heard you broke your arm going down the slide." Like, it's
And then he lifts his arm up, and he's got a cast on it already, bro. Like,
and it's fun radio. It's not boring.
yeah.
Right? And honestly, to your point about our schedule, yeah, I get up at 4:30 every day. And the first thing I do is I read headlines. And I read all my Twitter DMs, and like but the night before we go to bed, we're prepping, we're reading, we're going to talk about this, like we text back and forth. Hey, we're talking about this, and we're talking about that, and we're doing this, and hey, here are the talking points on that. Like, we prepare the show.
This isn't some kind of guessing game, bro.
We know what we're talking about. Anyway, all of this to say, a lot of people I know lost their jobs in talk radio this week.
Yeah.
And so when people say, well, you guys are a bunch of hacks, you can't even get a job. We could. We said no. It was so apropos almost,
Yes.
so poetic justice yesterday.
Yes.
That dude called us and was like, hey, we want to make some changes here locally, and talking about the, hey, we want to make some changes. Have you guys thought about, are you guys, it's like, no, we're not.
And that's why.
And we haven't.
And that's why.
Anyway, let's see. Parrish Duggar says, you guys missed the super chat, but I missed your super chat. It usually notifies me. I saw NY Jazz fans. Hang on. Where's your super chat at, buddy? David. Oh, there. Okay. David Caldwell gave us $5. David, appreciate that. Where is your super chat, dude? Vernon Sheldon. I saw that. Vernon gave us $2.
Yeah, we read that one.
Yeah, where is your super chat, man? If I missed it, I'm really sorry. We try our very, very best.
And we usually don't miss them.
No, it notifies me. It tells me. There it is. Parrish Duggar, $2, says, so Stephen A. just confirmed the Jazz do want RJ.
Yeah, he was saying that the other, yeah.
Yeah. By the way, we started the show with this. Speaking of, one of the more controversial things we always get lit up for is, you guys make up stories and sources.
Yeah.
Anybody see what else Stephen A. reported yesterday? Stephen A. Smith said yesterday, hey, I talked to the Knicks. Leon Rose is frustrated because Danny Ainge wants 6 first-round picks. Well, I mean, I don't know. Has anybody else reported that? That Danny Ainge frustrated Leon Rose, and that that Danny's asking Leon for 6 first-round picks?
Well, we've been saying that for 3 months or whatever.
That's right. We've been
like, for how long, however long it's been.
Since July 1st, when the Donovan Mitchell stuff started.
So my point just is, with this radio thing, this is the issue. This is the issue.
Yes.
When you do lazy radio and you're not plugged in, like, you don't leave your listener anywhere else to go. But
and what it does is it damages the rest of the business.
Yeah, because
people are used to now lazy radio.
Dude,
they're
Michael
used to
K, bro. Like, it's WFAN. Like, these are legendary stations.
Like,
man.
Again, the only local show that I actually listen to regularly is Spence. But the problem with Spence on ESPN 700 is that Spence puts on Elliot Fall, the general manager of RSL, and then we all go to sleep. Like, you put on writers every day. Like, and that's the other part, is that you have to be like, work hard.
Yeah.
Work hard.
Yeah.
Like, anybody can talk to the writer, talk to the athlete. Get me an athlete, get me a principal. Like, we had a rule when we were on the radio. We didn't talk to writers. We do not put writers on our show. You see who we put on our show.
You're not here for a writer's opinion. You're here for our opinion. Or somebody who is more plugged in than we are.
A Micah Hanneman, a Bob Thompson. Like, those are the people we put on the show. We don't just throw on. We could have a writer on the show. We could do a Stuart Mandel. We could have, I would venture, I don't know if Andy Larson would come on, but I would think any of the beat writers in this town would come on. I would think any of the beat writers around the NBA would come on. Maybe the beat writers in this town won't come on. I don't know. We're not asking. We're not.
Yeah.
Because we don't do that on this show. We put on coaches, players, executives.
Mm-hmm.
We put on people who can further a conversation. Anyway, Justin Salas gives us $4.99. Thanks for all you do, listening to you guys while in bed, drugging up while I wait for these kidney stones to pass. Oh, Jesus.
Damn. Dude.
Love the quality entertainment. Man, sorry about that, buddy. Jackson Heaton says, I slowly became a daily listener of you guys. As far as Jazz news goes, I've agreed with everything you say. Appreciate that. Let's see. Top Junkie says, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Mike and the Mad Dog radio program. I miss those days. Yeah, me too. I miss Mike North on the air in Chicago. I miss Steve Dahl on the air in Chicago.
Signature radio personality. Dude who was consistent, disciplined, gave you that it factor in the conversation every day. Doesn't exist anymore.
No.
Doesn't exist.
No, it's brutal.
Not on the radio anyway.
It's brutal. Tell us who you guys talked to yesterday. I'm not doing that.
No.
I'm not doing that.
It's not how it works, man.
It's not how it works. All right, couple other things before we bail out of here.
Yeah.
So I had an incident with the neighbor last night. This is an interesting story.
Yes.
So one of the things that I struggle with is reminding you on a daily basis that we are giving away a trip for two to see BYU and Notre Dame at Allegiant Stadium for the Shamrock Series.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is subscribe to this channel and then go to any of the 5 Utah locations for Barbecue Pit Stop, or check them out online at bbqpitstop.com. They're in Layton, Lehigh, Logan, Salt Lake City, and St. George. Barbecue Pit Stop. There's a box on the counter that has the BYU Notre Dame logos on it. It has our picture on it. Just fill out the slip, drop it in the box. Then on September 17th, come see us at the Barbecue Pit Stop in Lehigh. And at halftime, we're going to pull the winner's name as we watch BYU in Oregon on September 17th at the Barbecue Pit Stop in Lehigh. We're going to smoke some wings and pizza. It's going to be amazing. And then we're going to give that trip away. But go into Barbecue Pit Stop and say, hey, I heard about you guys on the Monty Show. I want to enter that contest. By the way, can you sell me some Kinder's taco seasoning?
Dude, it's so good. Like,
it is.
And I'd be talking about this seasoning whether they were with us or not, whether Barbecue Pit Stop was with us or not.
The Kinder Italian seasoning blend.
Bomb. Dude, bomb. Go-to for chicken wings.
Oh, man. But they have every sauce, every spice, every blend, every rub that you need. Go check them out. bbqpitstop.com. Are you ready to get into a smoker? Now, I know that smokers are intimidating, but I'm here to tell you it's not intimidating when you buy it at Barbecue Pit Stop, bbqpitstop.com, because they'll teach you how to use it.
Yeah.
If you're about to do your first brisket, call your Barbecue Pit Stop guy and say, hey, man, I'm about to drop this brisket in some brine. Or, hey, how do I, what can I do to
That's
put a
literally
rub on
what
this?
we did. Because we didn't know. I didn't know anything about smokers. Like, literally, I had no idea. So we called them. We were just like, hey, like, we're interested in a smoker, but we don't know anything about it. Don't know how to use it. Don't know anything about pellets. And don't know how to cook something with it. And we got the education.
Yep, use these pellets, do this, do that. Hey,
let your brisket sit overnight in this much water and mixture or whatever.
When
like,
it's
they'll
done,
tell you, dude.
When it's done, wrap it and put it in a cooler. Let it rest. Yeah, Barbecue Pit Stop. bbqpitstop.com, Layton, Lehigh, Logan, Salt Lake City, and St. George. Tell him you heard it on the Monty show. All right, let's talk about the neighbor.
Yeah.
Because we had an interesting interaction with the neighbor.
Now, before you get into what happened, what do you
Yes.
think of the neighborhood you live in?
Oh, I
overall?
love it. I love it.
You genuinely like the kids, usually, like, the feel of it.
Yeah, we live in Daybreak in South Jordan, Utah, and it's a great neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a beautiful home, and we have great neighbors. I love our neighbors, and there are kids everywhere. There are kids running around. There are all kinds of stuff. So yesterday, it's about 5:30, and I'm sitting on the couch chilling. Day's over. We're getting ready to figure out if we're going to eat dinner. Probably not. Hey, we'll have some yogurt. We'll do this. Mrs. Monty's like, I think I'll make some oats. Okay, I'm going to flip on episode 2 of Hard Knocks. Everything's good.
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. Monty's making the oats, and I hear this bang on the front door. And then I hear another bang on the front door. And so I pull up the Ring doorbell camera. And the neighbor's kids are sitting in a car throwing garbage onto the grass, onto the midway. And then they're throwing peaches against the front of my house. I'm like, what the hell? And then they speed off. So we take the video, and my wife's like, let's go talk to this person. Okay. So we walk around, knock on the door, and her dogs go crazy. I mean, they go crazy. Okay. So she has a Ring doorbell as well. And so she's trying to talk to us through the Ring doorbell. Dogs are too loud, can't understand it. But eventually she comes to the front door. And she's only wearing a towel, and she is soaking wet. And she says, I'm just trying to enjoy a bath. These dogs are going crazy. What do you need? And we tell her, well, hey, I think, your kids and their friends threw some trash out on our lawn and threw food at our house. And I show her the phone with the picture, and she immediately gets on her phone and calls her child and says, you get your ass home right now. You can't be doing this. And she gets off the phone with her child, and she starts crying. And I'm like, whoa, are you okay? And she's like, you know what, man? I've had it. I've had it with these teenagers. I'm so thankful they went back to school today. These dogs won't stop barking, and I'm just trying to enjoy a bath.
Terribly vexed.
And you can see she's in that moment where she's had a long summer. She's got these kids. She's got these dogs.
Yeah.
She's at her breaking point. And so I was yelling and screaming at her. No, I wasn't. And so I said, hey, you know what? This is no big deal. Go enjoy your bath. We had no idea. This is no big deal. Nothing was broken. We just wanted to let you know. And she's like, okay, I appreciate that. Let me know if it happens again, please. I'm really trying to wrangle these teenagers. It's been frustrating, and I really appreciate you guys coming over and talking to me about it. And so she goes back. We close the door. She goes and does her thing. We're walking back to our house, and the car pulls up again. And so I just walked over to the car, and I said, hey, man, your mom is really upset. Like, we caught her when she was taking a bath and the dogs. And I was like, all I want you to do is pick this up. And the daughter is in the back seat, and she says, well, it's this kid in front. And this teenage boy pops out of the car, and he's like, hey, man, I'm really sorry. And I said to him, this isn't that big of a deal, man, but I want you to understand, this could be a thing. This is a crime. If you'd have broken a window, this is a crime. And my wife was saying, you guys, they could have just flown under the radar. If they hadn't thrown their trash out of the car, even if they hadn't thrown the fruit, they had these big peaches that they threw against our house. If they hadn't thrown the peaches against the house and driven away quietly, we would have never had any idea.
Catch me outside. How about that?
But now here you are, you're probably 16, 17 years old, and you want to enjoy that rebel freedom. And it just goes to show you, I don't know how I could have handled that situation differently.
I don't think there was. I think he handled it fine. I mean, I wasn't there, but
I wasn't upset. I never yelled at anybody. And I just said to that boy, I said to him, hey man, I just don't want you to get in trouble. Just pick this up and let's go about our day, man. This is no big deal. I didn't. And I said to the girl, I didn't mean to cause problems for you. I'm really sorry. Your mom's really upset. She's frustrated. I didn't mean to cause problems for you. And she's like, yeah, it's cool. And it's just
Yeah.
This is what I hope. And the reason I bring this up is I hope on some level that as teenagers we thought better of this. But I can be honest with you, I didn't.
Yeah.
My moment in time came when I was 16 years old, I think, and probably younger than that, and I was ding-dong ditching with my friend Keith Horowitz.
Mm-hmm.
And I've told this story before. We thought we were really cool, and we had flashlights, and we had his dad, Keith Horowitz's dad, had a really nice knife collection, like a hunting knife collection. And I want to say we had hunting knives. And we lived in Lincolnshire, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
And he lived like back in the woods a little bit. And there were houses sprinkled throughout the woods. Really nice homes, right? And so, of course, we were out back in the garage and we strapped on those hunting knives and we had our big, flashlights. And it's
I'm for real.
Yeah, it's like 10 o'clock at night. And Keith lived off of this really long paved road. And I lived across, that road takes you to a big road that I lived across next to this lake. And so we decide, in our infinite wisdom as 16-year-olds,
Right.
that there's no better plan that night than to walk through the woods and ding-dong ditch people's homes.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to figure something out.
I mean, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
So we walk up to this guy's porch. I vividly remember he had pine steps, like these reddish yellow pine steps. Walked up the pine steps, rang the doorbell, turned and ran, but I remember running into the post. And I dropped my flashlight. And the door opened and I took off running. Now, I don't know what happened. But of course I'm going to go back and get the flashlight. So we circle back to get the flashlight. And we walk in front of the guy's house. Don't see it on the ground. I know I dropped it there. So we start walking away, and all of a sudden the flashlight turns on from behind us, and there's this guy yelling. And I remember him cursing. I don't remember what he said, but he was like, I'm going to F you up or whatever. And we just start booking it.
Yeah.
And it's about a quarter of the mile off of that long road.
Right.
We're running for our lives, right? He started chasing us.
Oh.
I get out to that long paved road, and I am just booking it, and I can hear him catching me. Now, Keith is a cross-country runner, so he go. Like, he's probably 15 yards in front of me.
Oh, my God, dude.
And I am running. And I'm actually in good shape at this point. I'm a soccer player and a baseball player. Like, I'm running for my life. And this cat is catching me. And he's yelling.
I'm going to get medieval on your ass.
And I have this dream occasionally where I can see him running with the flashlight in his hand because the light keeps going by my head. Right? Like, the light, the beam of light from the flashlight keeps going by my head.
Right.
And so I just keep running. And I am dying now.
Yeah.
I am ready to give up and die.
Is this the dagger?
And I keep running, and he throws the flashlight at me. Hits me on the right shoulder. And I remember hearing the flashlight skid off the side of the road.
Yeah.
And I just kept on running.
Yep.
And I could hear that he stopped. And I just kept on running. And then I saw Keith turn left over this little bridge, turns left, and he knew this path, obviously. It was a path we had taken our bikes down. And we run down this path through the woods.
Yeah.
That takes us all the way, like 2 miles out of our way.
Right.
We circle back, and we're fine, terrified. Terrified. It was one of those moments as a kid where I was thinking to myself, man, what if that guy had caught me? What if that guy had caught me?
I'm screwed.
And I've dreamed about that for the rest of my life.
Yeah, man.
Like,
that's crazy. But that's what you were doing as a kid.
That's what I was doing when I was 16. What are these kids doing? They're throwing peaches at houses. Thankfully not hitting a window.
Yeah.
But now you get caught on Ring doorbells. And we take phones and show your parents.
Yeah.
That's
the problem.
I just hope that we as parents, and you're a virgin and you have no sperm in your body, so you're never going to have kids.
Right.
But I hope we as parents, show what they do. Wow, how about this? Numra gives us $100 tip.
Damn, bro. What are you? Wow.
He says, hi, guys. Go Ravens. I love Ravens. Go Ravens. I'm going to be straight up, bro. On the right, your haircut is fire. Would that be you?
I guess.
I don't know. I want it. I'm going to the barber tomorrow and need instructions to give the guy. Could you turn your head a little bit so I can see the back of your neck? Thanks.
The back of... No, you don't want to see the back of my neck right now. Here's the instructions.
So here's what happened today. What happened this morning?
Okay, so this happens to me about once a month. I admit. This happens to me about once a month, legit. I'll be... Because like I said earlier, I get up. My alarm intentionally goes off at 4:15, and then I get out of bed at 4:30. So today, I woke up at 3:45 and was like, great. I got about a half hour here. I'm going to close my eyes. Alarm's going to go off. I'll be good to go. So 3:45 turned into 4:52 real quick. And I usually come over here to do the show at 5 o'clock. That's usually my arrival time.
And by the way, you're usually really well buttoned up.
Yeah.
Really well buttoned up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm usually prepared. That wasn't the case this morning. I swear to God, I woke up at 4:52 and went full freaking like Mission Impossible Code 10 abort status. I woke up and I was like, holy shit, it's 4:52. I have to leave in 3 minutes. And I'm laying in bed half asleep. So it's funny you bring up the haircut because I'm getting my haircut Friday. Tomorrow. Jesus, tomorrow's Friday already.
Jay Taffa, our guy in downtown Daybreak.
Jay Taffa in downtown Daybreak is the guy who cuts my hair.
At Dave's Barbershop.
The reason I love my hair to be short is so when things like that happen, I'm guaranteed not to have to do my hair and still 100% presentable.
And the funny thing is, you usually show up looking like a dime, like you're in good shape.
Got the
right?
J's on, we're good to go. We're good to go. I've got a planned out routine where I'm good to go.
This guy has to be trolling you.
It has to be.
Has to
right?
be trolling you.
So I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt that you're not trolling me, and I'm going to give you my barber instructions, okay? So what I get, and you will see it Monday on the show, because like I said, we're getting our hair cut after the show tomorrow. On Monday, and here's the bots. Here we go. See what I tell you. So the instructions are skin fade all the way around, but
you're really going to give this cat instructions?
Yes. The key is
he's not asking you for a real haircut.
The key is the hard part. That's the key. You don't just want him to part your hair. You want him to take the buzzer.
No, wait. Wrong.
That's your mic.
Wrong slide. You are not giving him instructions on how to get your hair cut.
He don't
asked. Give a damn.
He paid me $100.
He don't give a damn about your haircut.
He paid $100 for it, bro. I'm trying to be good.
My guy, I appreciate the tip. What's everybody else say? M. Morris says, haha. Justin Salas says, LOL, I don't know if this is a joke or if he is real.
It has
to be a joke.
My hair looks brutal today. It has to be a joke, but I don't know, dude.
I think you handled it perfectly, better than I would have. You did the long-term right thing. Too bad most people aren't this good. We can all do better, myself included. And then he says, ha 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 ha, at no.
Yeah, right?
Giggity says, this is not how I expected the neighbor story to unfold. Well done, Monty. Thank you.
I want better fucking execution.
Thank you. Let's see. San Diego State Aztecs 21 says, Kinder's Master Salt, the bomb diggity. Amen to that, bro.
Kinder's is so good, dude.
Giggity says, bro, Jake, what is wrong with your hair?
It's not good. So like I was saying, the alarm just straight up didn't go off or whatever, and I woke up at 4:52, and I was like, oh my God. So I open the closet door, put the black tee on, the shorts, I get the Lunlow J's, and I'm like, I'm out this piece. That's it. Like, it was crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I got up right on time today. Like, everything was good. Everything was good. Brandon Avance says, love it.
Yeah.
M. Morris says, this has to be a friend trolling.
It has to be, It has to be.
Fat Jesus says, that tip from Numera is from both of us, Fat Jesus says. Okay, good.
Yeah, good.
Rec 1 says, I'm sure he was trolling Monty. Has to be.
Right?
Has to be.
But give the guy credit, though. $100 to troll is pretty good.
Numera says, what the heck? I actually want to know.
Yeah. Okay.
How are you getting a $100 tip and hair advice requests on the worst hair day you've had in a year?
Am I allowed to give dude the directions? Can I give the dude the directions real quick?
The hard part. Yeah, tell him about the hard part.
So just simply go to your barber and say, hey, dude, I want a skin fade and I want a hard part. That's what you need. Because then what you're going to get is this really nice fade, and then you get the line in your part. But what he does is he takes the clipper and he literally cuts a line into your hair. It's not just like combing it. Like he cuts a line so you don't have hair there.
Why will you not get a mohawk?
Because dude.
What about a faux hawk?
I'm not a child. I don't throw peaches and get mohawks. Come on.
Hey, dude, if I had the hair to get a mohawk, I'd be getting a mohawk.
Yeah.
I'd be doing creative, fun stuff with my hair, but I'm old, I'm fat, I don't have hair.
We have to represent us in other things that are coming.
K. Nurin says, I cut my own hair. Man, I did that once too. Nope. My friend Dave had a Flowbee. And we did the whole, hey, let's
You've used a Flowbee.
Yeah, in a Tupperware bowl, and we did a bowl cut. I shaved my head. I lived in Northbrook, Illinois, and maybe it was Mike Chereau.
Listen, we're in a strange time.
One of my friends in my Northbrook neighborhood had a Flowbee. It might have been Mike Chereau. Man, that poor kid, he ran right into we were playing tackle football. Mike Chereau, God, Cherozy, running down Longacre Lane in Northbrook. There's a fire hydrant. He's running a pass route and ran right smack into that fire hydrant.
I'll drop that mother.
He was out for like 4 to 6 weeks. It was unbelievably bad. Unbelievably bad. Numera says, I work 17-hour factory shifts for that money. I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Dude, no, but seriously. Thank you. That's one of the biggest, that's one of the biggest tips we've ever gotten on the show. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Blessed T says 777, number of the goat of goats. Okay.
Cool.
I don't know what that means. How about... why are our comments not working right now? Fat Jesus says, I feel like Jake has been waiting his whole life to talk about his haircut.
Well,
you take pride in it.
Yeah.
Talking with Raphael podcast.
On Barber Radio.
Says, I go to ABD Barber Shop to get my haircut. Cool.
Nice, dude.
Cool. Numerous says, show me the back of your neck, man, please.
What? Like, what? Like, what am I supposed to do here? Like,
look at that back of his hair.
Like, what am I supposed to do, bro? Like, come on, dude. Like, look at the back of my hair, bro.
It is so fucking bad today. It is so bad today.
Like what am I supposed to do, bro?
Why today of all days?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why today
I
of
have
all
no
days?
idea.
Like, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Why today of all days?
Yeah, I don't know.
Worst hair day ever.
Yeah, it is, hey.
Why?
But I'm telling you, but see, this is my point, though. This is why I'm a big believer in short hair, because when you're in crisis lockdown mode and you woke up
lockdown
like
mode,
you have an out. You just have to get the contacts in, get dressed, and leave. That's it. Like, you're done.
But notice nobody is asking for my haircut.
No.
Nobody. Steve Peterson says it sucks while it cuts.
Yeah.
Flowbee. It does. It's not hard to use. Fort Worth Poke 54. Fort Worth Poke 54. Right. I love your show. I'm an Oklahoma State alum fan and found you 6 weeks ago, and I watch every day. Well, thank you.
Let's go. Appreciate it.
Thanks, 5-4. Appreciate that, buddy. NY Jazz fan says, I was so looking to buy stuff from Barbecue Pit Stop. If you ask questions to them, they text you.
Wow.
How awesome is that? Great
I did
company.
not know that.
Great. Wow. That's awesome, dude. That's
Seriously.
really awesome.
You've been messaging me this morning on Twitter. Send me that. DM me about that. Tell me what they did. I'd love to share that with them.
Yeah, that's great
I would love to document that.
Let's see. M. Morris says, act like a dragon. Now they want you to act like... Wait,
well, how do I act like a
I don't know. This is the... And now the interpretive dance portion of the Monty Show, where Jake is going to act like an asshole, pretending to be a dragon.
Like, what the...
Got me.
I don't even know what to do, dude.
Rec One said he did it. Oh, my God. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He said, LMAO, damn, back of his head looks like a rat's nest.
It does, dude. Because I'll shower in the morning, which I have this, I don't even know what the terminology is, the nomenclature, but I have
colic?
This, yeah, colic, that just tortures me consistently. Even when I have short hair, it stands up. It's terrible. So when I have long hair, it's brutal.
Bro.
It's absolutely brutal.
Wow. MH MH5 says, dude, I was on Zoom calls yesterday wearing a hat. Bad hair, working from home after a new baby. No time for sleep means no time for hair. Do not feel bad for that bed hat.
Yeah. Like, come on. I'm telling you. This is why. This is why.
With all
you
due
have
respect.
to go. With all due respect, you got to go to the barber, get your skin fade game on point, spend the $30 or whatever, and just give yourself the insurance policy.
Raphael says that pillow hair, LOL.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yes.
It totally. We should all like take pictures at some point. Like my hair in the morning, dude.
It's wild.
Dude.
Saturday morning gym hair is legit.
Dude, Justin Salas says, dance monkey, dance monkey. I can't believe you did that.
Yeah.
I can't believe you did that.
You know.
Man, I don't know. M. Alvarez says, I live in Florida. I reached out to Barbecue Pit Stop via the chat so I could get entered in their drive-away drawing.
Sick.
Nice.
Sick, dude.
Appreciate you, man. Cody Strickland says, this show has just reached a new level, LOL.
Yes, it has.
It has.
Yes.
There is no doubt about that. There is no doubt about that. Well,
Yes.
hey, big show today. Appreciate all of you being here. Again, if you're just tuning in, please give us a thumbs up and a like. It really helps the channel grow. The biggest stories in sports this morning, obviously the Big Ten announcing their TV rights deal. They sign a 7-year deal that's worth between $7 and $8 billion with CBS, Fox, and NBC.
Yeah.
NBC Sports tweeted that NBC and Peacock are now the exclusive home of, quote, Big Ten Saturday Night.
So excited.
Starting in 2023, Brett McMurphy has been consistently reporting that the Big Ten is pursuing Oregon, Washington, Stanford, and Cal. That is a huge story. I think that's the biggest story of the morning. There is no doubt about that, and as more details come out on that, obviously, we'll keep you guys up to date on that. But, yeah, please follow us on Twitter and Instagram, The Monty Show, MONTY, The Monty Show. I know that you guys have called Barbecue Pit Stop. Hey, if you're in the market for a mortgage, or even if you want to know, can I qualify for a mortgage? Call Devery Davis. Tell him you heard about him on The Monty Show, 801-543-9666. Devery Davis and Academy Mortgage, NMLS number 278545, equal housing lenders. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Don't use a Flowbee, Jake.